Hey. Gary Snow, or Snowman, as the Bug Busters might call me. I'm here to, we're going to be doing a little bit of review of Bug Busters, the game that I'm going to be kickstarting shortly. And I think you're going to like it if you like 90s grunge music and killing bugs. So it's going to be good. So without further ado, Snowman in for Gary Snow today. He's going to be gonna take a break because he's kind of a boring guy, but he helped. So let's dive right into it if we can. So first off the bat, let's bring Bug Busters to the stage. So the idea behind Bug Busters is that you are exterminators in the 90s, the mid 90s to be specific, and you're going to be out there trying to fend off an alien invasion of bugs. And that's about all there is to it. And it's built off of some good inspiration, which I'll get into. But essentially, that's the story: is you're some mid 90s bug busters and working class heroes that are protecting the world, unbeknownst to the world. So. And I know I have my game pitch video on here that I do sometimes. And I know that sometimes I give other designers a tough time going, hey, what are you going to do for your launch? I need a slide deck. So this is my best attempt at a slide deck. And you're going to see everything that there is about Bug Busters. So who am I? I'm Gary Snow. Don't mind the suit. He's kind of a douchey looking guy there. But he got started Redbox D&D, age of 12, sparked a lifelong love of sharing stories and playing games. I got into filmmaking and communications. I did a documentary about the world's largest game store, the Sentry Box, located right here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I'm coming to you from. I started the Daiku podcast. I've had, maybe about 100 guests on the show over time, and it's good. It's fun. I get to connect with designers that are really clever and talented. And guess what? I've absorbed all that information in my head, and I turn that into the Bug Busters game. All these good ideas and approaches to game design, and so. I got to thank all my guests that have come on here in the past and say to them, like, hey, I'm sorry I absorbed all that information, but I'm going to try to do the best I can with it. So I started the Daiku podcast, and part of that is I do a Daiku game pitch where I have emerging designers come on, similar to this. And I also do Hello Zine sometimes in October. I do like a daily zine review. Last year, it just about killed me, and I said I can't do 31 zine reviews in 31 days, so I might do a few in October, but that's about it. So you look at that picture, that's not me. I got to showcase a little bit about me because everybody sees all the other guests. They get to tell their story. Here's my story. You can see the kid with the big ears. That's me. I must have been like maybe 5 or 6 at the time. If you look at the picture up in the right, that's me in the red shirt with the baseball bat over my shoulder. That's me with my crew in the back alley. We made a baseball park in the dirt. That was kind of my kid life. And I'm Ukrainian, as it says there, made in Canada with Yuki parts. So that's kind of a little bit about my background. And just so you know, like that, I'm old, older now. But at one time, I used to be cool. And this is why the game's set in the 90s. Look at me. Look at that head of hair. I mean, it's still kind of here, but not like it used to be. You can see up in the top left corner, I had a job called tree planting in BC, in British Columbia, Canada. So what we do is we go into these chopped down forests and we plant trees, and it's pretty rugged work. And that's how I kind of based the idea of Bug Busters on that kind of aesthetic, where it's kind of like grungy. And in the 90s, there was no jobs. Like there just wasn't. So, and I packed up and I drove my Volkswagen van way up in the mountains, and probably like 16-hour trip to go plant trees. And that was, I got hooked into that for like 7 years or so. And you can see some other pictures from that era. So I used to be cool, believe it or not. I used to be cool. And, you get old. And here's a picture of me doing my filmmaking stuff in the top left-hand corner, the documentary with the owner of the store of the Sentry Box, Gord Johansson, and some of me with my crew. And, we love our vans, right? We love our beer, as you can see here. So we like our beer. I like filmmaking. It's what I do. So back to Bug Busters. Let's get back into what it is and who's on the team. So we got Kyle Burles, who is also located right here in Calgary. Kyle Hazard is his Instagram name. Marcus Tegmeyer, and he is located in Austin, Texas. Great illustrator. You can see his Insectosonic there on the left. And then finally, but not least, is the logos and badges are by Gareth Little, Bazupko. You can find him on Instagram, and he did all the logos, which I absolutely love. And you'll see more instances of that. So that's Bug Busters for you. Now, where did the inspiration come from? It's no surprise, Bug Busters, Ghostbusters, very similar. I love the old Ghostbusters game. And for me, it really is like a classic. It's very simple. People can look at it and learn it in like seconds. People that have never played a role-playing game before in their life can play it. So Sandy Peterson, D6 system, awesome. Men in Black, it's that whole secret world of alien invasion. Repo Man, it's that punk aesthetic that I really like. And it's got kind of that wackiness to it. And it's kind of like that you're living and working in like a desolate part of town. That's what I love about Repo Man. Arachnophobia, that goes without saying. You're an exterminator, you're out there fighting some awesome insects. Starship Troopers, everybody loves to kill those bugs. And then Eight-Legged Freaks, same thing. Like these are some super powered alien bugs. And then Aliens 2, or Aliens, as they say, that was awesome because like you got to just like blast some bugs. That was so fun when they were coming in the vents up above, and then they live that secret alien invasion. Critters, there's lots of adventures set in like kind of these remote places where you're kind of looking for these alien insects. And then The Thing, which is a classic horror movie, John Carpenter, love you. So that's the inspiration and the touchstones for the game. The layout and design, as you can see by maybe some of the aesthetics, it's got that kind of 90s punk poster for the layout and the design. The employee handbook content, I love an employee handbook, an onboarding package that kind of has that vibe of, hey, this is how you become a bug buster. So that's going to be in there. And then finally, a lot of the inspiration I grew up with, which is like, look at the prizes in cash. Call Peggy and you can order some pretty cool gear. So that's going to be all part of the design too. So what's the lore of the Bug Buster? You got Doug. Doug started the Bug Busters. He had no idea that he'd be on the front lines of a secret alien invasion. He started it in 1986 and in Erie, Indiana, Midwest town. Now it's the mid-90s and he's got franchises all over trying to help him out. And that's your job, is you're going to have a franchise for Doug in the Bug Buster realm. So that's basically the idea, and the premise behind it is like, you're Doug is your man. He's the guy that kind of started it all. He's at the head office and you're out there fighting it off on his behalf. So like I said, there's franchise opportunities. Everybody thinks that your franchise is in the sketchy part of town, and hey, maybe it is. But you can turn it up to 11 on the volume, and everybody's going to be able to play it and no complaints, right? No neighbors, no complaints. So you've got your seedy Bug Buster town in the wrong side of the tracks, and you've got your Bugmobile there, and that's going to be all part of the game. You make your own Bugmobile, and it's got its different devices, and you have your Bug Buster franchise, and you've got your mechanic, you've got your office admin person. It's all kind of part of your franchise character sheet, so to speak. And you can't have a working class game without working class background. So where were you before you became a Bug Buster? We've got a whole bunch. We've got Radio Shack salesperson, nighttime DJ, a parolee, summer student, military discharge, washed up athlete, bouncer. You can even be a washed up sensei. Hey, the rent was high. You couldn't keep your dojo open anymore, so you became a Bug Buster. So everybody has a background, and everybody from that also has some contacts from their previous life and also some items from their previous life. So that's kind of like, it's like your classes, but you end up based upon your background, you get some extra bonuses on different things. And we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But you can see on the right here, we got a summer student, and we got a drifter. Maybe that's another class, is a drifter. Characters. So hey, my call sign is Snowman today. You've got your call sign like Maverick and Goose. Everybody loves a call sign. And you know what? You can tell me all you want. You come up with these characters that have their first name and last name. Everybody wants a cool call sign. So just go for it. And so we've got 4 attributes, much like the old Ghostbusters game. So you've got cool, handy, agile, and tough. And within each one of those, you can have a specialty. And so that gives you extra dice. So on a scale of 1 to 6, but primarily between 3 and 5, you're going to have like your attribute scores. And that's how many dice you get to roll. So we'll remember that in a sec. And the specialty builds off that core attribute. So you get an extra bonus die if you do that. So it's kind of like a dice pool, but like I said, it's built off the Ghostbusters D6 system, because that's like the classic to me. And then we're going to talk about it later on, but you got the Doom stack to show damage and stress. You got saving throws against the ongoing bug effects. You got patches for advancement. We'll go over that in a sec. And last but not least, you make a mixtape that represents your characters. This is the mid-90s, so you got to have some music. And maybe if you're an older person, you got some 70s stuff in there. It's up to you, but you can kind of have that vibe. It's like walk-up music for baseball players when they go up to bat, and they got their walk-up music. What's your fight song and what's your chill song? So I talked about the gear, and I love those old comics where you're looking in the back. It's like the Christmas wish book. You got your Bugzooka. You got your Cubics, which is like an old flashlight. It's got 4 flashes, and you blind the bugs. You got your Zap Bat. You got your Bug Bombs. You got your Electrolash. You got your Insectasonic. You got your Bug Bot. It's a remote-controlled video camera, so you can send it down those tunnels that you don't want to go down. You got your Zap Master 3000. You got your Slicer Dice, your Bug Blaster, the Vibroblade. You got the Thorax Pump. You got it all. It's a lot of fun. A lot of weapons that you can kind of choose from, and you just call Susan for your equipment orders, and she's going to send it back from head office. So that's the gear, and you can see your Bug Buster on the left. He's enjoying life there. Now the core system. This is what people are maybe going to go, hey, you talked about Ghostbusters D6. The only thing I didn't like about the Ghostbusters game is when you're rolling like 5, 6, 7 dice, and you got to add up all those little dots. I hated it because it it took time, and it was just wearing at the end of the day. So the core system that I've come up with is the top 2 dice. And so it's very similar to, say, like a traveler scale, but you're rolling multiple dice. And, it all kind of works out with the math, believe it or not. So you've got your risk of failure between 5 and 11. Those are like the doomsayer is what we call the GM in Bug Busters. I know it's not supposed to be antagonistic with the players, but hey, you can't pass up a name like Doomsayer, because as the GM, you don't actually roll any dice. You just talk about what's happening. So it's all player facing, no GM rolls. It's all just for the players to do cool stuff with. So you got your risk of failure. So if you roll your dice and you get above that, it's a success. The Doomsayer describes what's going on. And if you're fighting somebody, you got some damage from your weapons, and also the damage difference between the risk roll, and that is going to be what damage goes to the bug. Equal, hey, that's a jinx. It's going to be a success, but with a complication. And I know people from the PBTA world, and they always love their complications, but sometimes it's like, whoa, you play those games as just complication. So hopefully this just makes you come up with a few complications. And then under, you've got success with a complication at the expense of doom. So if you're willing to take some doom on, and we'll talk about what doom is, if you're willing to take it on, you can still make it happen, but you're going to take some doom. So that's the core system. It's the top 2. You can see on the right, there's some examples of that's a 10, a 7, and a 9. Top 2 dice. Now this is the big thing, the doom stack. Let me hold on a sec. I'm gonna show you exactly what a doom stack is. You can see here that I'm gonna pop it on here. So hold on. This is the doom stack. So you got your black dice, that's your doom. You got your white dice, those are good dice. And when you take doom, you stack it up like so. Oh, that was a bad stack. That's going to come back and pay. So that, I mean, I'm doing that with my left hand. I'm using a phone. I'm doing lots of different things. So that's not going to work. But the idea behind it is your doom stack is your hit points or your doom that's coming in. So it's kind of variable and it can go pretty high. Believe it or not, my daughter can get it up to 20. So, hey, like I said, left hand. I'm not doing a good job of it, but that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna just remove that and bring me back here, and I'm gonna just talk more about the doom stack. So the doom stack, that's you get your dice, and when you take doom, you add it up, and then if it falls over, that's when something bad happens. And if you need to, you can take your doom stack and you can offload it to some other players, like in a group. So there's the group stack, and if you end up crashing, that's when you're basically out of the game for at least a little while. And saving throws, like sometimes these bugs, they either they sting you, or if they're scary, there's an ongoing doom effect. And then similar to the doom stack, you got a D6 and you roll it. And this is, and going back to, the core mechanic, I like it when you roll above. I know that a lot of games today, especially in the OSR, like some of the newer games, they always like to roll under, like a saving throw. I like rolling above. That makes me feel good when I'm doing good and I'm rolling above to actually like get something, versus like rolling below. I don't really like that. I prefer that. But the saving throw, that's a little bit different, and you can roll it to get under. So you roll the 1d6 and you get under, so that you take that doom die from that saving throw, and if you fail it, it goes on the doom stack. So the doom stack is integral to all of this. Now, patches. I mentioned the patches before. If that's how you advance. There's no XP in this game. You just get patches. So after your first adventure, you get a larva patch, and that gives you a bonus. And then your next adventure, you get a poopa patch. You're increasing your level of knowledge as a bug buster. And then if you ever get acid or whatever the case might be, you get a slug hug, and that's going to increase your ability to take on those acid attacks. And then you got your sting king. And so if you get stung, the next time you get stung, your saving throw for the sting is going to go up. And so you've got other levels, a splat master after 10, a hive dive the first time you go into a hive and you like root out that queen. And then there's the queen kill. And then finally, at the end of it all, there's the Order of Doug. And so that's, if you've gone into 20 adventures and you get out of it, you got your Order of Doug. So that's the patches, and there's a few more on the way, but right now that's all we got to show you. And then I mentioned you got a mixtape. And so this is a game set in the mid-90s. So you can pick a song that's your fight song and your chill song. And that's going to go on your character sheet. So let's go back to the character sheet here for a second. Where did I go with? Let's look at your character sheet here. So if you look here, you've got your attributes and your specialty up in the top part of it. And then, for those of you that are going, hey, this doom stack thing's kind of gimmicky, I just let me just put it on my piece of paper. I have my table's wobbly, or I'm at the airport, I can't do it. You've got a paper thing that you can actually use the doom stack. So you just track off what your highest is, whether you want to pick your target at the beginning by, like, everybody tries to stack as high as they can before the game, and you go, okay, that's my doom stack. Or if you're unable to, maybe you've been in an accident, you can't use your hand like you can just kind of arbitrarily kind of pick what makes sense. So, and once again, you got your mixtape, so you got your fight song and your chill song, and then you got your patches, and a couple still incoming as far as the design goes. And but you tick them off, and then you improve your attributes and your saving throws, and you got your gear and all that. So that's kind of going back to that. That's kind of the design of your character sheet. So You got your saving throws, you got your patches, and your mixtape. And Bug Busters would not be complete without a bugstiary, right? So I've got, like I said, Kyohazard and MacTag. They've been doing some awesome illustrations for these bugs. This is just a sampling of them. And so you've got some like really crazy bugs. You got the laser slug there, and you've got like your gas worm there. So there's like some pretty fun bugs for you to bust. And the risk rolls are based upon the difficulty of the bug. So like if you're after like a really nasty bug, that could be a difficulty of 11. And that's what you're going to have to roll in your risk rolls to get above 11, which is tough. That's like, you know, fighting a red dragon, so to speak. So we've got some awesome bugs in our bugstiary. We've got some like really wicked factions. We've got a nihilist skateboard gang. We've got early internet space cults, you know, the ones that like they live in those mansions and they think, you know, those early internet days where those space cults are like killing each other, and because they think, you know, end of the world stuff. Hey, maybe they're right. Secret government agencies. We got rival exterminators, local law authorities, alien sympathizers, because, hey, maybe aliens are good. Maybe it's okay if they kill you. Maybe that's what they want. So we've got a whole bunch of factions for you to play against. Do not trust anybody. The only good bug is the dead bug, I say. So I'm going to be bringing this to Kickstarter. It's going to be a 150-page hardcover, no templates. Every page is unique. So you're going to be getting the best of my graphic design abilities all given to you, because to me, I love it when I open a book and everything's kind of fun and unique. And warning shot to Mark Borg, I am going to out-font you. Guaranteed, I am going to out-font you. And because the aesthetic, I mean, it's not for every game, but because of the aesthetic of punk posters, I am going to out-font Mark Borg. And I'm going to show you that it can be done. Black and white interior illustrations. Stretch goals will improve the quality and the features of the book. I'm going to kind of keep it simple. This is my first kind of real game book. And then, you know, possible post-Kickstarter add-ons to the backer kit. If you guys really like it, maybe we'll get some patches and you know, stuff like that. If you heard the music at the beginning, which I don't know if you did, that's by Danny Jalali, awesome singer, writer. I've already talked to him about maybe having a cassette tape adventure. So that could be, but only if you guys are interested. So more to come. If you want to follow us, we got the Kickstarter. If you go to bugbusters.ltd, so that's like a web domain, believe it or not, Bug Busters Ltd, like a .com, and that's going to shoot you to the Kickstarter, at least for now. And follow us on social media. And it's funny, like, how long have I been doing this? 2 years? And people still say, well, is it Deku Games? Or like, it's like a die. It's like a die, people. Deku Games. Couldn't be simpler than that. It says it right there in the name. Deku Games, not Deku, not anything like that. It's Deku Games. So follow us on Deku Games, and we'll be sharing some more of the stuff that's been coming in, and we've got some designs that I haven't shared with. There's so much background, there's so much history to this. I want you to feel like you're in the 90s all over again. And for you young folks that are kind of going, hey, what was the 90s about? This is going to be it. Because like I said, that was my heyday. I was in my early 20s in the 90s, and I was in the grunge, and I was doing all that fun stuff. So you are going to see what a working class hero is like in the 90s. So that is it. I appreciate you coming on and learning a little bit about Bug Busters. This is just the start. I hope that, you know, a lot of people get interested in learning more about Bug Busters. Follow the Kickstarter, bugbusters.ltd. Couldn't be simpler than that. Go there, follow along on the Kickstarter, and then when it's ready to launch, we're going to do that. And like I said, I've got big plans for Bug Busters. I hope you're along for the ride. And I know a lot of times I interview people, and I don't actually get to talk about my stuff and what I want to think about as far as design. So there's a little bit of that in there, but no, this is just me. So I'm pretty happy to do that. I appreciate all the designers that have kind of come on and shared their knowledge and wisdom with me. And all of that has been taken into the head, and now it's all coming out into the Deku Games Bug Busters game. So please follow us on Kickstarter. And hey, if you're looking underneath the video, you can see there's some t-shirts there. I have not marked them up, so you're getting them at wholesale value. If you want to look underneath this video, and there's Bug Buster t-shirts like this. Get in the groove. Enjoy the process. And for other people out there that go, hey, like, how do you make games and stuff like that? You're gonna see how the sausage is made. I'm gonna, pop on here every now and again. I'm not gonna burden you with listening to me all the time. I mean, I guess you could flip off if you want to, but I hope you come along for the ride. So anyways, thanks for sitting through this initial intro. There will be more in the near future. And Bug Busters, I hope you enjoy it.